because we've talked about this before when you've talked about your mother, your father, what you learned from them. Tell us a bit about what you learned and how you were able to process it positively and engage with it rather than create a negative story from it. Because a lot of people may see violence and react differently.
Yeah. I think there's always an aspect of us that when we feel unloved, you know, in any capacity, in any relationship, when we feel unloved, when we feel mistreated, when we feel somehow disrespected, it's a natural reaction to want revenge. And I think that's what happens with most people, specifically in our most vulnerable stages when we're children, and we haven't done anything to deserve that kind of treatment. It's really hard for the ego to not click into revenge, you know? And, you know, once I discovered that mechanism, once I saw that most of us walk around with, that, you know, we want revenge against that mistreatment. It's a little piece of that with all of us. So the problem is that when you seek revenge, you destroy yourself. And that's the paradoxical conflict that we all live in. Someone has mistreated us. We want revenge, but if we take it, we hurt ourselves more.
It's crazy how it's
right?
designed.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so that is the, as Radhanath Swami referred to, the perplexing situation that we find ourselves in. And the only answer is loving kindness. And most of us don't want to hear that. It's like, I'll take my chances with revenge. I'm gonna take my chances with punching this dude in the face or cussing this girl out or whatever it takes, but I can't do loving kindness. And for me, I had such a beautiful example of loving kindness in my grandmother when I was growing up. I always knew I wanted to be that, the way that she loved and cared for people. I didn't realize that her giving was connected to her peace. That was something that I got a concept of later, but I always knew that was my example, and I think that's the critical part. We need an example. Somebody has to be an example. Human beings are creatures of example. You got to see it.
Yeah.
You know, so that's really where I am in my life right now. I want to show what it looks like to be loving and kind and giving and forgiving. And I want to model those virtues as best I can.
It's amazing how the thing we think that's gonna help us feel better is actually what makes us feel worse.
Yep.
And you hold on to it because somewhere inside of you, you feel you have to be the person to show that person the truth. Like you feel like it's your responsibility.
You're gonna be the hammer of justice.
Yeah, and so you carry that. And it reminds me of, there was this thing this lesson that we were talking about and sharing in our meetings was this quote by Russell Barkley where he said, people who need the most love ask for it in the most unloving ways.
Absolutely.
And that's what you were saying when you were giving examples of people in our society today who, it sounds crazy, but somehow they are seeking love.
Absolutely.
And when you kind of put that in your head, you're like, oh, like that's just a plea, a begging.
A begging,
a literal, like, it's not even a proposal, it's like a demand for love.
It's a demand, absolutely.
And you were saying that, and I love what you said then.